Finally, a WrestleMania main event worth watching. Roman Reigns and CM Punk put on the match of the year and one of the best WrestleMania main events I can remember. This match was pretty much perfect from the video packages to the entrances to the match itself. Outstanding work by two of the best in the business. And it's great to see. And there's a lot of reasons why it was great. And I want to go into the specifics as to why this was such a great match and the perfect way to cap off WrestleMania and to remind people that it's still possible for a WWE match to be unbelievable, amazing, historic, legendary, and any other name you want to give it. So starting with the video package is specifically CM Punk's. Now, they brought back Miseria Canter, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, by AFI, which is a song that CM Punk used in Ring of Honor, well known for it. It reappeared in WWE 2K26 as a classic Punk theme song, and they even have the ROH version of Punk in that game with the blonde long hair and the shorts. It's amazing. So first with that was great stuff. They zoom in on Punk sitting at Allegiant Stadium. He starts walking out to that music, then everything goes silent when he walks out onto the stage. He does the It's Clobberin' Time, and then they hit his normal theme music. And you know he is so happy because he's in the main event of WrestleMania. And not the night one main event, the night two main event, which means there are no matches coming after his. This is the big one, the one he's always wanted since he was a kid, to go on last at WrestleMania. Yeah, he had night one last year with Roman and Seth, but that match wasn't really for anything. This is for the world title, and he's walking in as world champion. It's just the perfect scenario for Punk, and he's got to be the happiest guy in the world when he's walking down to that ring. Then you go to Roman Reigns, and he comes out to Head of the Table, the theme song that he used when he was in the Bloodline, and the Bloodline was on top of the world, and they were producing great TV every week, great stories, great promos, great matches. And when he came out to that song, I got to tell you, I like that song. And I love that song. And I think it's so much better than the song that he came back with when he became a babyface, that OTC song, which is a version of Head of the Table, but it's not as good as the original. So they brought back Head of the Table. Smart move. That is the song he should be using from here on out. Now that he's world champion, spoiler, Roman Reigns does win this match. But that's besides the point. We're getting ahead of ourselves. So he comes to the ring. And again, this has been built up, this match, really since Punk left the WWE, went on a podcast with Colt Cabana, and basically said that the Shield was his idea. Roman and Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were brought up to work with him. And when there came a point where Punk was facing Roman and Seth and Dean Ambrose in a 3-on-1 match at a pay-per-view, Punk was going to win the match, but everybody backstage was telling him, yeah, you're going to win, but you got to make Roman look good. You got to make Roman look strong. They kept telling him that over and over. So CM Punk made that information public, and Roman Reigns, who at that time was a very hated babyface, was even more hated because of Punk's comments and the fact that it just confirmed that WWE views him as the chosen one, pretty much right from the point when he was brought up to the main roster. And Roman Reigns had a tough time being a babyface for many, many years. And it really wasn't until he turned heel in 2020, joined up with Paul Heyman and became the Head of the Table. That's when things turned around for Roman Reigns. And so for Punk, who left wrestling for years, came back to AEW. You know, everybody knows what went on there, all the chaos that happened there. Then he leaves that leaves or gets fired from that company, quit, fired, whatever, and comes back to the WWE in 2023. When he came back, the number one match on my mind was Punk versus Roman. And then the second most important match would have been Punk versus Cody, which I think we might get at next year's WrestleMania. So this has been built up for a while, and a whole bunch of things had to happen for this match to even take place. First of all, Seth Rollins gets injured. Then Punk and Jey Uso face each other for the title. Punk wins the title. And then it turns into Punk versus Roman. I mean, like, plans change, and who knows what the actual plan was going to be. Maybe they've mentioned it before, but it ended up being Punk and Roman, which I was really happy with, because those are, I mean, that's one of two big money matches that have yet to happen. Punk versus Roman, Punk versus Cody. And I mean, they haven't happened since Punk came back. Obviously, Punk has faced these guys one-on-one before, many, many years ago. Anyway, back to the match. Okay, so the match begins. There's a stare down. I mean, everybody's amped up, ready to go. I mean, we know what these two guys are capable of. And so the match starts basically with them trying to one-up each other. And they each get the upper hand. It goes back and forth. And there comes a point where Roman Reigns, Punk hits the ropes, runs towards Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns leapfrogs him and then catches CM Punk for a Samoan drop. That was amazing, because some people forget how athletic Roman Reigns is. I mean, everybody knows he's a big guy. He's in perfect physical condition. But did you know he could leapfrog CM Punk? I bet you didn't know he could do that. Okay, so that was cool. Right to start off the match, we get honestly, that's like a WrestleMania moment right there, that leapfrog over CM Punk. Then the match continues, and after a Superman punch, Roman Reigns goes for the spear, but while Reigns was going like, ooh, Punk knees him in the face, which is brilliant, because if this was a real fight and Punk was like game planning about what he's going to do in this fight, he knows that, oh, Roman Reigns always does this like emote before he spears people. So while he does that, I'm going to hit him with my signature knee to the face in the corner. And that was brilliant and good. And he hits that. And then he, unfortunately, Punk gets caught hanging upside down a few seconds or minutes later from the top turnbuckle. He's hanging outside the ring in the Tree of Woe, and Roman Reigns takes advantage, hits multiple Superman punches on him, and then takes the steel stairs, hits Punk in the head, busts him open, okay? Then he picks up Roman picks up Punk for a power bomb, kind of like the Shield power bomb they used to do, but obviously Seth and Dean Ambrose aren't around. Power bombs Punk through a table. So at this point, you're like, wow, Punk must be done, because he just got multiple Superman punches, steel stairs to the face. Then he gets busted open, power bomb through a table. Okay, so he must be done. Reigns puts him in the ring, emotes like he's gonna go for the spear as soon as he gets in the ring. Goes in the ring, spears him, or goes for the spear. Punk counters into a GTS and falls on top of Roman, basically dead, because he just went through some severe physical trauma with the stairs and going through the table, and Roman kicks out. See, that was a brilliant sequence. And by the way, I want to mention right here, these guys were selling. That is a lost art form. Every wrestler today needs to watch this match and remember that selling is a huge part of a pro wrestling match. You can't have these long matches where it seems like both guys or girls have infinite energy and they never get tired. And no, I mean, Punk did the right thing. He catches Reigns for a desperation GTS, manages to pull it off, and then just falls on top of him, because that's his last bit of energy after getting destroyed by Roman. But Roman kicks out. Match continues. So Roman hits a Superman punch Oh, no, no, no. Punk hits a Superman punch on Roman Reigns. Reigns kicks out. Then Punk plans on going for the spear, but he sees a fan or somebody in the crowd who has an ulafala around his neck, leaves the ring, goes to the fan, grabs the ulafala, puts it on himself, which gets a big reaction from the crowd and amps up everybody because he's about to spear Roman Reigns with the ulafala on, which is so disrespectful. I don't know if that fan was a plant or this was pre-planned or Punk just did it in the moment. Either way, it was a fun surprise and it made for a great visual and a great clip. And unfortunately, when he goes for the spear, he gets caught in a guillotine by Roman Reigns. And then Punk manages to reverse that into a pinning combination and then into the Anaconda Vice, which again gets a huge reaction from the crowd. The crowd was really into this match for the whole time. And that's a credit to both guys, because pulling out things like a leapfrog from Roman Reigns is going to get a big reaction. Punk getting destroyed and still managing a GTS and going for a pin cover and then Roman kicking out, that's going to get a big reaction. Punk grabbing the ulafala from a person in the crowd, putting it on, going for the spear, that's going to get a big reaction. Punk pulling out the Anaconda Vice, which he used in his first match, like on ECW against Just Incredible all those years ago, and he doesn't pull it out all the time, but he pulls it out here. That's going to get a big reaction too. These guys know that. They know what they're doing. They are professionals. They are the utmost professional of professionals. They literally are the best in the world. Okay? And then so they do some more exchanges while, guillotines and Punk is trying to get him in the sharpshooter. That doesn't work. And eventually they do a double clothesline to each other and they're both down. And the crowd, they give him an ovation right there because it was a great sequence, great exchange. The match is going great. They're being entertained. Everyone's into it. Anyway, so Punk and Roman fight back to their feet. Punk takes some tape off of his wrist because, everybody knows he tapes up his wrist like all the way almost to his elbow. And then he takes some tape that he wrapped up and then throws it, or balled up, throws it at Roman. The referee bends over to grab the tape and throw it to the side. While the referee's distracted, Punk low blows Roman Reigns, gets him in the GTS position, hits the GTS, goes for the cover. Everyone thinks Punk is going to steal this one. 1, 2, Roman kicks out. And that was a great false finish. You know why? I remember being at WrestleMania 29 when it was Punk versus Undertaker. And in that match, there was another great false finish like this where Punk hits Undertaker with the urn, that golden urn. And then everyone thinks that Punk is going to end the streak in such a, devious way by cheating. And he had us for a second like, oh my goodness, this could be the end. 1, 2, Undertaker kicks out. So that was a good false finish by these guys. And honestly, when Roman kicked out, Michael Cole said something about, oh, Punk is trying to retain the championship. I totally forgot the title was on the line. At this point of the match, I was like, oh yeah, the title's on the line. So I was just entertained by Roman and Punk wrestling. And so now I'm even more into the match as it reaches its inevitable conclusion. So I'm like, oh yeah, title's on the line here too, right? Okay, so then somehow Reigns winds up outside the ring. Punk puts him on one of the announce tables. Now, Punk tried this earlier in the match. He tried to have Roman on the table and go to the top turnbuckle to probably put an elbow through him, but Roman cut him off. Now Roman is on the table again. Punk goes to the top turnbuckle to hit the elbow, and this time he lands it. And actually, I was a little worried there because, remember, Punk is, I believe, 47 years old, going to be 48 this year. This is deep into the match now, so he's got to be, feeling it. And remember what happened in AEW when he tried to do the, what is it called? The clothesline that the freaking Adam Page does. Whip. Oh man, I forgot what it's called, but you know what I mean. He was trying to do that clothesline where he flips over the top rope and clotheslines Adam Page, and he couldn't do it because it was deep into the match, and he was so tired he couldn't land it, and yeah, so people made fun of him for that. So I was a little worried here that he wasn't going to stick the landing, because he's got to jump from that top turnbuckle at 47 years old and make it far enough away to land on Roman Reigns. But he did it. He made it. They went through the table as planned. So luckily, pretty much everything in this match was hit perfectly. Like even Punk early in the match, he's on top of the barricade, does like a flying clothesline, which he does normally from like springboarding off the ropes and into a clothesline to his opponent, flying clothesline. Even that was hit perfectly. Like I was just like looking at the execution of every move was outstanding. It was just, again, best in the world. These guys really are. So after the elbow through Reigns through the table, these guys are pretty much down. Punk throws him back in the ring. And I should mention, once again, these guys are selling, because we are now like approaching the 30-minute mark, when maybe we're around there. These guys should be exhausted. This is like a marathon match between two titans of the industry. So that's the way it should be. They should be exhausted at this point, and they show it. They are showing that they're exhausted. So anyway, Punk GTS's Roman. Roman doesn't go down. He actually stands up after getting the GTS and hits the ropes, goes and falls on Punk's shoulders again. If you remember, Punk did that to Jon Moxley in AEW. He did it to Seth Rollins. Now he's doing it to the final member of the Shield, Roman Reigns. Once again, gonna get a big reaction from the crowd, because all these callbacks they're doing to stuff that happened earlier in their careers, everyone loves that. Gonna get a big reaction. He goes to give Roman the second GTS, and this will probably put Roman away, but what happens? Fatigue sets in, maybe Punk's age sets in, father time defeats him, and Punk just collapses from exhaustion, right? He's so tired, he just falls over. And all he could really do is, at this point he gets to his feet, and Roman spears him, but Roman is too tired to capitalize and go pin him. Remember, Roman himself going to be 41 this year. I don't know if he is already 41, but he's at least 40. So, again, great idea to show that, look, they're freaking exhausted. It's 30 minutes into the match. They're guys in their 40s. Come on. So, it makes sense that neither guy could really put the other one away and capitalize on their opportunities to end the match. Finally, Punk and Roman make it to their feet. But Punk can't really do anything. He's just standing there, and then Roman hits one rope. He goes to the other side of the ring, hits the other ropes. Spear. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Okay? So the second spear in a row puts CM Punk away and caps off one of the greatest WrestleMania main events of all time. One of the best I've seen. A perfectly executed match from beginning to end. There was selling. Okay? Great story, great callbacks, great everything. Outstanding job, guys. Perfect match. Wouldn't take anything away from it. If you want to give it a star rating or out of 5, 5 out of 5. Come on, man. You can't take anything away from these guys. There was no interference. There were no celebrities. There were no shenanigans. There was nothing. Okay? Nothing. The most shenanigans you can mention is Punk low-blowing Roman Reigns, but hey, that's part of wrestling, and it didn't put Roman away. So anyway, I just want to say this was one of the best matches in WrestleMania main event history, and thankfully, because it's very hard to find good things going on in the WWE these days. You pretty much got Danhausen, and you got Punk versus Roman at WrestleMania. Thank you for watching.